We saw the flashlights start to circle us from the tree line, moving perfectly together. But when I called out, the forest answered in my own voice. I was 24 when this happened, during a weekend camping trip that still gives me nightmares. It was supposed to be a simple getaway. Me, my girlfriend Jenna, my best friend Ryan, and his girlfriend Chloe. 4 of us. 1 tent, and a chance to get away from the noise of the city. Ryan had found the spot on some hiking forum, an old section of Black Ridge National Park that was supposedly closed off years ago due to land instability. He said it was just red tape, the perfect secluded area for a bonfire and some drinks without rangers bothering us. When we got there, though, it didn't feel right. The trees were dense, gnarled, leaning at strange angles like they were growing away from something in the center of the woods. There were signs nailed to the trees, old faded warnings that read, "Restricted Zone. Do not enter after dusk." Jenna wanted to turn back immediately, but Ryan laughed it off. "Come on," he said. "It's an old sign. Probably just there to scare kids." We parked near an empty ranger post and started hiking in. About a mile up, we heard a pickup truck crunching through the dirt road behind us. A park ranger stepped out. Older guy, mid-50s maybe, face weathered and serious. His name tag said Holt. He asked us where we were headed. Ryan told him, and the man's expression immediately darkened. "You can hike there," he said, "but you don't stay there after dark." "Not anymore," I asked him why. He just stared at the trees and said, "At night the lights come back, and what's carrying them isn't human." We thought he was trying to scare us. Ryan smirked, said we'd be gone before nightfall. Ranger Holt just sighed and muttered, "They always say that." Then he got in his truck and left. We joked about it for hours while setting up camp. "Watch out, the ghost flashlights are coming," Ryan said in a mock spooky voice. But as the sun began to drop, the forest changed. The wind died. The air went still and heavy, like the woods were holding their breath. Even the insects went quiet. We built a fire, trying to ignore how the silence made every crackle sound like a gunshot. Around 9 p.m., Jenna said she heard something. Footsteps somewhere behind the tent. I listened too, and sure enough, crunching, slow and deliberate, like someone stepping on dry leaves. Ryan grabbed his flashlight and swung it around. Nothing. Then, maybe 20 yards out, we saw another light. A dim beam between the trees. Looked like another camper at first, but then a second light appeared beside it, and a third, and a fourth. They flickered like handheld flashlights, but they didn't sway naturally. They all moved together in perfect sync. Chloe whispered, "Are they walking in formation?" We called out. No answer. Just the sound of the fire popping, and that slow crunching in the dark. Ryan laughed nervously and said it had to be rangers trying to mess with us, but I saw his hands shaking. Then one of the lights moved closer, fast, smooth, like it was gliding. It stopped at the edge of the tree line. We couldn't see a person holding it, just the beam of the light itself, hovering midair. Then one by one, the other lights started circling us, slowly, in perfect rhythm. Jenna grabbed my arm, whispering, "Ben, they're surrounding us." Ryan yelled, "Who's out there?" That's when we heard it, a voice from the trees. "Who's out there?" It was his voice, the exact same tone and pitch. Ryan froze. "Okay, funny," he muttered, voice trembling. "Who the hell's doing that?" No one answered, just the crunch of leaves. Then one of the lights blinked out, then another, and another. Every time one disappeared, the sound of footsteps got louder. Jenna started crying. Chloe was whispering prayers under her breath. The air had this metallic taste, like static before lightning. I shouted, "We're leaving!" and kicked sand over the fire. The second the flames died, the darkness swallowed us whole. And then, in that suffocating black, something whispered right next to my ear. "Don't leave yet, Ben." I swung my flashlight around and saw nothing. But Jenna screamed. One of the lights was right beside her now, hovering inches from her face. I saw her reflection in it, her terrified expression. And behind her reflection, for just a second, another face staring back. Pale, mouth hanging open like it was trying to scream. We ran. No gear, no light, just ran through the dark, branches tearing at our arms. I could still hear the crunching. Too many footsteps, too close behind. When we finally stumbled back onto the dirt road, I nearly collapsed. Ranger Holt's truck was there, headlights on. He looked at us, pale, shaking, covered in dirt, and didn't ask a single question. He just said, "Get in." The drive back was silent except for our breathing. Finally, I asked him, "What the hell was that?" He didn't answer right away. Then he said quietly, "That part of the park was built over old mining tunnels. In the 60s, some workers got trapped when a shaft collapsed. The rescue crews searched for days. They said they could still see the miners' flashlights moving underground long after they'd stopped digging." He paused, staring at the rearview mirror. "Some say the lights moved to the surface, looking for a way out." When he dropped us off at our car, he said, "You were lucky they didn't finish circling you." It's been over a year since that night. We don't talk about it anymore, but sometimes I dream of those lights, moving together, closing in. And every time I wake up, I see a faint glow through my bedroom window. It always disappears when I look directly at it. But last night, I heard footsteps just outside my door. The night my friend said she saw Ethan sitting quietly on the bus window seat, I thought she was joking. Then I turned around, and he waved at me. It's been 3 years since that field trip, but I still can't sleep on buses. I was 17 then, just a regular student, looking forward to a boring overnight school trip. We were headed to the mountains for some kind of history and nature experience. But all anyone could think about was Ethan. Ethan had died 2 weeks before. They said he drowned in the river behind our school. No one knew why he went there alone, but people whispered about it. How they found him floating face down, arms stiff, clothes torn. I didn't go to the funeral. None of us did. We tried not to talk about it, but you could feel it. Every time someone laughed too loud, it died quickly, like everyone suddenly remembered there was supposed to be one less person laughing. The bus left at 6 a.m. sharp. I sat next to my best friend, Megan. She had her hoodie pulled up, earphones in. About halfway through the drive, she tugged my sleeve. "Ben," she whispered, "don't look right away, but I swear Ethan's on the bus." I frowned. "What?" She nodded toward the back. "Last row, window seat. He's just sitting there." I saw his reflection in the window. I laughed a little, thinking it was her way of being creepy. But the way her hand trembled made me turn around anyway. Someone was sitting there, a hood over his head, face turned toward the window. At first, I thought it was just one of the guys sleeping. But then the bus hit a bump, and the figure's head didn't move, didn't sway, didn't react at all, just sat perfectly still. And that's when he slowly turned his head. I only saw his face for a split second, but I'll never forget it. Skin too pale, lips blue, his eyes cloudy, like milk glass. And he was smiling, just a faint, dead smile. I blinked, and he was gone. The seat was empty. The air on the bus felt heavier after that, like someone had shut off all the oxygen. When we arrived at the lodge that night, I told myself it was exhaustion, my brain messing with me. But Megan looked pale, like she'd seen more than I did. "He's not gone," she whispered while unpacking. "He followed us." I laughed it off, but I couldn't shake that image of his frozen smile. That night, everyone was hanging out in the common area, telling stories, playing cards. But Megan kept glancing at the windows. At one point, she went completely still, her eyes wide. I followed her gaze and saw a hand pressed against the glass from outside. Just a pale, water-wrinkled hand sliding slowly downward, leaving streaks behind. The nearest window was on the second floor. We screamed, and by the time the teachers rushed over, the handprint was still there. Wet. But when they looked outside, nothing. No footprints in the mud. That night, I woke up around 2 a.m. The lights were off, but I heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, dragging ones. At first I thought it was a teacher, but then I heard something else. A wet sound, like shoes soaked in water. Then came the knock. 3 slow knocks on our door. I froze. The guy I was rooming with, Tyler, muttered something half asleep, but the knocking continued. Then a voice whispered through the door, "Can I come in?" "It's cold out here." It was Ethan's voice. I know how insane that sounds, but I swear to God it was his voice. Low, slow, like it was coming through water. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The knocking stopped. Then something brushed under the door, a faint trail of wetness seeping into the carpet. When I opened my eyes again, it was morning. My pillow was damp. I thought maybe I dreamed the whole thing, until I looked at the floor. There were bare, muddy footprints leading from the door to my bed. The teachers called it a plumbing leak. I didn't argue. But Megan wouldn't talk the whole ride home. She just kept staring at the back of the bus. Halfway through the drive, she leaned over to me and whispered, "He's here again." I turned, and I swear in the reflection of the bus window, I saw him sitting behind us, head resting against the glass, eyes staring straight into mine through the reflection. I spun around, and no one was there. But when I turned back to Megan, she was crying. "He won't stop smiling," she whispered. "He said he just wants someone to come with him." When we got back to school, the driver said something strange. He told the teachers that the bus sensor kept miscounting passengers. It said there were 21, even though only 20 boarded. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about Ethan. I checked our old group chat, just to scroll through his old messages. And that's when my phone buzzed. A new message. From Ethan's account. "You saw me." I froze. My hands started shaking as I typed, "Who is this?" No reply. Just another message a few seconds later. "You're next on the window seat." And since that night, every time I ride a bus, no matter where I sit, I feel someone breathing softly behind my ear, cold and damp. And in the window's reflection, there's always a faint smile. If you've ever been on a trip that didn't feel right, maybe you weren't supposed to be there. If you enjoy true horror stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. There are plenty more real nightmares to come.